As we've discussed over the course of these videos, to begin drawing a box, it's as easy as either clicking and dragging when you're starting off a surface to draw a view aligned cut, or clicking and dragging when you're on a surface, then releasing left mouse button and moving your mouse for the extrude, then clicking to apply. In general, box cutter use. However, there is an ability to interject in that process where you can basically enable release lock, and by enabling this toggle in the top bar, whenever you draw a shape and then you let go, instead of it jumping into extrude, it will pause in this state, allowing you to really take a moment to ponder. So we could take this moment to bevel, which makes it get a little bit weird, so we'll just extrude that to speed things up. With it being so close to the surface, it can get a little bit odd whenever it's sitting in a 2D state, but release lock is a kind of draw and chill sort of state compared to the usual draw and extrude rapid fire method that box cutter is typically known for. So this is especially useful for people using touch surfaces or tablets. You may want to draw a shape, allow it to sit in this intermediate state, drag dots to adjust things, perform your extrusions, and just really chill and think about things before you click to proceed. So there's a bit more to release lock than just that. So the next thing I want to talk about is if you shift click it, it will bring up a pop-up, and we can enable the release lock laser cut. So with the laser cut enabled, if we drag a box and then let go, we have dropped it into release lock, and if we click, we are now inside of laser cut. And you can't really tell that I'm inside of laser cut because I'm paused in this view, but the benefit of having this pause in this view that we're looking at is I can shift drag this dot in order to kind of cut through kind of x-raying. But of course, keep in mind that whenever I drew this, it was oriented to the shape at this particular point as far as its bounding box, so I can't just drag it across without, of course, going out and pulling it back, of course, to make it fit the shape proper. And then I'm able to click and apply that. But in the event that you were trying to just draw a cut and then just click to see what the laser cut result would look like, this is the type of function that you would go to. And then of course you're still able to just move this around and make adjustments. I can press S and Y in order to scale this and turn it into just nothing more than a little tick, get it positioned just right, and then click to apply, maybe put another one here, and really start working this from the view align angle if that's what I desire. However, the next thing from here is that if we shift click it, we can also bring this panel up again. And quick execute is its own interesting behavior that I'll be talking about more in depth when we talk about the behaviors. But quick execute, when brought into the mix, will actually turn it into a God ray type cutter, where whenever you draw, you can actually see the results of your cut in action as you're drawing it, because it's performing the laser cut and the extrude at the same time. So at this point, it's looking a little bit weird, but if we were to draw it, say, from this side, and we turn on view for it, now it's actually a little bit less nonsense. In fact, it's kind of still nonsense, probably because the amount of mesh that we have cut off, and here we are getting actually the desired result. So by starting it off with something on the farthest bounding side, we're now able to draw these bounding boxes that will just cut away so much of the forms, but it appears as only whenever we're over it inside of the view system. So that seems like a little bit of an irregularity to me. So there's always more work to be done whenever it comes to refining these tools. So I always like to present them as a state of process that we're always working towards gradual improvement. Let's turn that off and try that again. And for a moment we almost had it. It's just such a strange cut with so much taken away to really work on, so let's try it again and again, and just making sure that we're able to cut things away using the power of laser cut and quick execute. All three of these at the same time basically will equal a God ray. So this case is a little bit nonsense. So if we shift A, add in a new cube, and we look at this from the side, this is more of a appropriate case for it. We'll turn off that, and now we can actually see God ray performing exactly as it's intended, except for that case where it fell just a little bit short, and there where it fell short, it was able to work in that case. But in this case, it also worked. So I can't really predict on its failure, but there was definitely something odd happening there. But in 3D, this thing definitely performs as it's intended. So there may be a need for us to perform a pass on the view align sector of it. But these are just some of the alternative ways that you're able to draw and get your booleans across to the other side of a model while still dynamically being able to just use result. In fact, to me, when I look at it, I see a combination of extrude and laser cut and draw all at the same time in the same operation. So one day I'll find that perfect need for me to be able to draw and cut in this particular fashion, but for now it definitely exists as an interesting way to wonder what it would be like to use box cutter if you were the Man of Steel.